Welcome, welcome, boys. This beast should look semi-familiar. It's been on the channel before, makes a guest appearance every now and then. In this video, we're going to be doing a few things on it. But the main thing you're here to see is how to replace the brakes. So first order of business, I have that side of the car up in the air. I have this side of the car chalked. And the vehicle is in park, it is an automatic. We'll get to the backs, probably in its own video. But for this video, we're going to do the in-depth, how you replace the front brake on this side. Then I'll time-lapse the other side, once you know the drill. But the owner also wanted the oil changed. So we'll knock two birds out with one stone. I already did an oil change video on this car. It's also in the playlist. So we don't need to rehash that. But what we will do is, while I'm replacing the brakes, the car's up in the air, I'll go ahead and drain the oil out of it. So if you happen to see some oil draining and all that stuff and the hood's up in the after shots, that's why. So killing a couple birds with one stone. So first order of business is lift the car up in the air and remove the lugs. These are 17mm lug bolts, not to be confused with lug nuts. And these were actually over torqued in here. I had to use a breaker bar, this big behemoth, in order to get them off. Because my impact driver, which normally has, 1,000 plus breakaway feet of torque, couldn't bust it loose. So had to set it back down on the ground and use the breaker bar. Do not over torque these. The BMW also has lug bolts that are 17mm, and that says between 88 and 92 foot-pounds of torque. I usually go for like a 92 foot-pounds or 90, somewhere right around in there. I would not recommend going over 100. I would say that would be the max. So when I do put these back on, I will use my torque wrench right here, and then we're going to bust those up to about 95 to 100, just to make sure that they're in there, but whoever has to take this wheel off next time can, in fact, do so. So let's get to it. Okay, and so our first order of business on getting this caliper off is loosen these 12mm bolts on the back side here. So we got a 12mm right here, a 12mm down here, right there. So loosen those up, and then we'll be able to swing the caliper down or pull it off, and then get these pads out of here, compare them with our new ones. Nice short bolt, and let's see if we can just loosen it a bit, swing this thing down. Actually, I didn't bring a pry tool. Yeah, I did. Yep. Alrighty. I guess that's all it'll go then. That line's too short. Okay, so we'll need to have to take the whole caliper out. No biggie. I suppose theoretically I could have swung it up. And if that's possible, then we'll do that on the other side of the time-lapse version. That way we can compress the piston while the caliper's still kind of sort of stuck to the whole steering knuckle. Alright, the other little one off. Those are in good shape too, not rusted or nothing. Okay, so what do our pads look like? Take the inside one out. We're getting a little low, but still
decent amount of meat, I guess, until we get to that little guy. So what we'll probably do is save these 4. I'll put them back in the box. Because you never know, some crazy thing could happen later. The calipers just go bad, they seize up, and then, you know, you eat up your new pad. Well, if you save these old ones, well, if they have a decent amount of material left on them anyway, you could reuse them for that sort of an emergency. There's a lip here on this rotor. See, this pad's got kind of a little bit of that lip going on. This one's got it worse, so the rotors have a big lip. But that does happen. I think my dad's Challenger was the same way. Alright, so we'll remove the hardware here. So it looks like it's the same on the top and bottom. We do have new hardware. Boom. Along with our new pads. Ceramic, of course. Only the best. Oh shit, son. Damn! Got a lot of freaking pad left. Well, man. What do you say, boys? Is that a big difference or what? Still save these as a spare for a rainy day. Like I said, there's not a shitload of it, but that's maybe a little less than half. I'd say that's about maybe 40%. But before we do any of that, we need to compress this piston back in. So, first order of business is go up to the brake fluid reservoir. I have this off because I'm changing oil, as I mentioned earlier, but this needs to come off. That way there's nothing pressing up against it. It's not holding any pressure, because this fluid level is going to rise. It's going to go up as we compress this piston back in. So you take your C-clamp, take a pad, one of the old ones, and then we're just going to press it on. Should be enough. There's actually tools that do this, but I've never not been able to do this with a C-clamp. And this is the time you'll know if your piston or your calipers are going bad, because this might be kind of hard to do. No, this is fairly easy to do. I can see I can do it with just my hand, with just a little bit of torque. When I was changing the brakes on my Crown Vic, I was unable to squish this piston back in easily. I actually had to use like a pipe, something like this, to get leverage on it, to squish it back in. And that was the left rear on the Crown Vic, and that was that one that went bad. That caliper that was squishing on my brakes and causing them to smoke and everything. Right after I changed the brakes, by the way. So, you'll know if you need new calipers or not, and this is going to be part of that test. If you're giving it the old squish treatment here, and it's not wanting to go in easily, because this shouldn't take a lot of effort. And just go kind of slow, don't freaking go ham with it, because remember, you're pushing fluid the opposite direction it's meant to normally go, so don't freaking disrupt the balance of things by going hard. And as you can see, it's almost to the max now, so I'd be willing to wager once I do the other side that will go up and touch max, and then we'll see what the back ones look like, if they're about like this, worse or better. But once it becomes difficult to press this in, like so, now it's hard, go back out. Boom, done. Alright, let's get our new hardware in. Alright, and that looks to be the same. Perfect. Alright. Actually, this side needs to go down a little. There we go. What's there? No, that looks like it's on. Yep, that looks good. Alright. At least it should be good. Oh, slides right in. Perfect. And this should go right over it. That's an easy light. Make sure you push these guide pins in. Like down here, see it's kind of out. Push it in, and then you can slide your caliper right back into place. Line these up. Our 212s. That one's going in good. Ow. Perfect. I have a 12mm somewhere. Here it is. Bam. Okay, give it a good hugga. I don't want to go too tight, but as you can see, it's kind of sliding around here. That's because there's still a little room in the piston. So what we're going to do is hit the brakes a few times to get all that fluid back where it needs to go. Alright. We'll do the same thing on the other side, but that'll be time-lapsed, and I'll cut back when we're over there, because now I'm going to put the wheel back on and torque everything down and drop the side back on the ground since we're done over here. And I can finish doing the oil change that I'm simultaneously doing here. boys, and that's how we change the front brakes on our Mercedes-Benz C230. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.